Here we go, friends. Here we go. November is here. November. November. I'm actually recording this on the quote-unquote official Dia de los Muertos. Los Muertos. Los Muertos. And I'm in kind of what I call my ancestor room. Got pictures of the ancestors going on. Oh, that is so not bright, that candle. All right. Got me a creativity cocoa, enchanted cocoa. And we'll just pan around a little bit. We've got ancestors. And we've got a nice little dreary November 2nd day. There's my mom, my creativity cocoa. That's my mom. When she was a little girl, she was so cute. And let's get this camera in. Doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo. All right. I just want to see. I want to welcome everybody in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Whether you're new, whether you've been here for a while, join me on this wild ride that is our spiritual journey. I'm going to let anything that happens in the background be part of the video. If there's something going on with my son in the other room. And we're going to just draw a few cards for November. So coming up, what I have planned for us, I wanted to just do this today on this, I think it's a special little like holiday day. We had the new moon yesterday. So this is going to have the energy of that. But coming up, we still have the November energy hangout, which will include the Earth Council channeling for the month of November. This is a very big, auspicious month in the astrology, with Pluto finally, after 16 years, leaving Capricorn and moving into Aquarius. It's a huge, massive change for the better. And so we will talk more about that in the energy hangout. And then we'll also have a November light language healing and activation show coming up as well. But, you know, I like playing with the cards too. So I thought we would just throw down a few cards and see what's going on in November, what the cards want to tell us about November. And then tomorrow, I haven't decided yet, we're either going to do a regular Bringers of the Light Sunday with Flying Potion chapter for the week ahead, or we will be doing the November energy hangout with the Earth Council update. Just depends on if I can get into channeling the update today. All right, energies for November. What do our guides want us to know about November for the TLC for the Soul Collective? Only one card. Holy smokes, we got the Hermit in reverse, which I read reversals as like significator cards, but in this case, maybe it is like also like a reversal of Hermit energy, a reversal of, you know, like endings, because is that a 9? Yeah. Maybe this like being alone with your with your hooded shawl, just looking at Netflix on your laptop, like in your bare feet, like, you know, in the sanctity of your own temple. Maybe that's coming to an end a little bit, because Pluto is, we keep kind of harping on Pluto, but I think that's the most important, one of the most important ones this month. Let me see how close I want to get on the cards. But yeah, with Pluto moving into Aquarius, Aquarius is the 11th house in astrology. It is all about community and different kind of partnerships, but more like your social networks and all of that. I just think that things are going to start to open up a whole lot more, where you've been maybe going your own way or in your own energy. Yeah. So the Hermit in reverse. Okay, who's next? The Embroidered Graveyard. So, is reading over. What else about November? Oh, that's all. Now, well, let's clarify that a little bit. Like, what does that mean? Let's see what that. Let's just see as an overview. What is November in the cards for? Let's just look at for your work with this embroidered graveyard deck. For your work. Celebrate uniqueness. Card number 38, which breaks down to an 11. This is all about being yourself. Look at that community. Community of moths or whatever around the bonfire. Oh, they have like skeleton moths. Community of skeleton moths around the bonfire. So I think in your work, you are being encouraged to be yourself. I did feel that a little bit here at the beginning of the show because I was just like, whatever. Not whatever, but, not censoring ourselves. If we want to be wacky and sing a weird song or whatever, or wear, a Hawaiian skirt in the middle of November, Hawaiian shirt in the middle of November, like just be yourself in your business too, because I think here's what happens with this. I don't want to diatribe for too long because I don't want this video to go on forever, but in your work, I think that's how you get yourself maybe a little bit stuck in a rut, is by not being who you are. And especially if you're working for someone else, because we always try to conform to societal norms, especially in the workplace, right? You want to do a good job. It's your freaking job, right? You want to make your paycheck. You don't. And I think there's this fear like, oh, I don't want to do anything, off kilter or whatever, because, I don't know how people are going to react to that. And I remember like right before I left for the corporate world, is this a diatribe? Yeah, it's like just being who you are and just, not being afraid to like show your true colors. And then that kind of leads you to maybe places you wouldn't have gone before. I do want to say about the corporate world, like there was a certain point where I was trying to move up and do something different. And I kept getting told like, oh, you're too nice for this position. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? And so those kind of things I started hearing were like the red flags for me, that it was like time. For me, it was time to leave the corporate world. But for you, maybe this month, with this whole Pluto changing signs, especially being being in a beneficial sign like Aquarius, you may start getting ideas or notions or things opening up for you about like, man, I think I want to do something different in my job and in my career. And I want to do something that's more me, no matter what that means. Some people that is just like, oh, I still love, working for the man or whatever. And I just want to do it somewhere that's nicer or more fun or, more enjoyable, or, maybe I want to go to school and change my, so these changes, whatever we're talking about career wise, I don't think it's a quick, like, a quick change. This sounds like we're setting the stage this month for almost like this, what do you want to be when you grow up type energy? Like what have you always wanted to do? And I would say you're never too old to get started, because I know I have people older than me watching this, and it's never too late to change, right? You don't know how many years you have left on this planet. And what if you're like, I have people I think in their 60s, maybe 70s. What if you're going to live for 30 more years? Hello, are you just going to sit around in your armchair like, well, my life's over because I'm 70. It's time to get moving. I always go back to Louise Hay, always pops in and says, my career didn't really take off until I was in my 60s. And for you younger friends too, it's kind of like now you're going to start, you're going to be getting these inklings of like, what have I always wanted to do that I've never let myself do? And I think the energy is going to come in now to start supporting you there. And it could be that you have to go back to school, or you have to learn some new trade, or you have to like get some additional training. It feels like it's like a year away kind of a change, rather than like next month I'm suddenly in a whole brand new professional world. But the energy starting this month is going to support you there. And it's prime time with the energies coming in. Even today, even where we're still in this new moon integration, that'll be part of this show, worked into, baked into the magic of the message is, what have you always wanted to do that you never let yourself do? What when you were younger, are those things still there? And can you maybe mold those into something that's not so conformist, like, oh, I always wanted to do interior design, but oh, that meant I have to go to design school for, I don't know how long, who knows how long, whatever. I have to go to design school, I have to learn all this stuff. And it's like, maybe you're more of an intuitive interior designer and you don't need all of that, years and years and years of schooling, because you're not going to go work at some, design firm somewhere. You're going to open your own design business and you're going to let your magic do the talking, so to speak, of what you're able to do. And I know we have people like, even I could go on for a while, but even like, I'm a medium, I'm a psychic medium, and I want to help people with mediumship readings or tarot readings or whatever. And it's like, do you really need to go to a class for that? Maybe. I took a lot of classes to like remember, not learn, but like remember who I was in those areas. And they were helpful and they were fun. And I got to meet a lot of new people and have a lot of fun experiences. So those are some things to think about. And this is an excellent month, they're saying, even though it's November. I think we think this is weird because this big change is happening in November. And if you're looking at a 3D calendar, you're like, nothing really happens in November. November's like the beginning of the holiday season in the, depending on what country you're in. I start thinking about Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it's like, no, right now, if you're looking at the wheel of the year, technically Samhain is the witch's new year, which is the beginning of the beginning of the calendar all over again. So it's a prime time to start setting these intentions, writing them down, taking some time to sit down and think about, what do I really want, especially they're saying now start, but right after Pluto enters Aquarius on the 19th of this month, you're going to already be like flooded with possibilities. And so I have heard of several other way showers talking about this. Diana Cooper was one of them, about getting yourself prepared. Yeah, I'm getting big chills. Getting yourself prepared now for what you want to come with this new energy that's going to be flowing in, because it does feel like once Pluto hits Aquarius, they're saying there's like no stopping. The energy is just going to get up behind you and like push you forward. And if you don't have a kind of a direction set in mind, then you could be floundering a little bit within the energies because you're not really sure. So use this time between now and the middle of the month, especially before the full moon, to get in there and maybe jot down, like go back over intentions list and jot down what it is that you think you want. Check off old things, pat yourself on the back for stuff that maybe you've already accomplished, and start getting excited about the new that's coming for you. All right, what about in the area of love and relationships? I put this deck away, but I was like, maybe I need to pull it back out again. So let's get the Modern Love Tarot and look about love and relationships for November. Love, relationships. The Knight of Cups. I really think it's kind of pretty much the same message. And acting, if you are manifesting someone, I think it's acting as if they're already here and like, well, if this person came in, then what? Whoa, it's a whole blank slate. It's a whole new relationship. Then what? Do you want to move from where you're at? Do you want, is it an upgrade? I think for new relationships coming in, it's going to be a lot of upgrades to what you're used to. And so, yeah, I'm getting a lot of chills. So you may be like, well, what would that look like? Would I want to live in the same place? You know, would I want to live in the same house? If it's an upgrade, if there's more resources available for me in this new relationship, maybe, you know, I want to move to a whole new state or a whole new country. Like, just start daydreaming, sitting down and seeing what you get there. You know, what kind of car would I drive? You know, I don't know. That's, you know, what are the important things? Would I have like a dog and 2 kids? I don't know. No kids for me. Like, right. Like, would I have a dog and 2 kids? Would I have a horse? What would I have? Would I have like 2 houses? Cause my dream has always been like, I have a house in the woods with some land for my dog to run unencumbered and free and safe, with a little grove and all that, and a house by the beach where I could go, you know, hang out in one of my favorite spaces by the beach. So I've always dreamt of having like 2 places, not just one. One would be more like an ancestral home, and one would be more like a let's go vacation at the beach kind of thing. Or who knows, multiple properties. You never know. You got to let yourself dream big and see what feels right for you. Because I'm noticing in this card, you know, they've got the wine. She's got a fancy little bracelet on. I don't know what that car is, but it looks like a fancy little car. There's like a fancy fountain in the background. There's the lady and the guy and the kid. You know, think about what you want for you. What do you want for your family? You know, what do you think your family members might need? So take some time there to think about that as well. Because I'm thinking like, you know, if I were to move somewhere, like my son, he's getting older. We've already talked about, you know, like having, you know, different, what is it I want to say? Like in the old days where families stayed together, families didn't separate. And I know he wants this too, where it's like, you know, when I grow up and I have his wife and his kids or whatever, he's like, I still want us all to kind of like be together. Not in the same house, but like in the same land or whatever, like more tribal, is kind of what I would envision, or having property where you can have retreats for people to come in and do healing. So that's the kind of things that I'm like, if you've just been daydreaming about those so far, but they sound really good to you, now is the time to like write those things down. All the things that you might be interested in, after said things manifest. Okay. The Fae want to come in. All right. What are the Fae? Whoops. Oh, well, it just popped off the bottom of the deck. Emperor energy. The Emperor card just popped off the back of the deck. I mean, look at that. There's the... Is that a scroll? There's a scroll and a big giant scepter and a crown. I think you're going to be, what I'm hearing is that you're going to be more able to execute what they're calling your sovereign authority. So they're saying if you've been doing the work on yourself, if your karma has well, they're saying if you've been doing the work on yourself, if you've been doing your service work, then your karmic banks are really full right now, like very full and ready to burst open. And what that means is you start being able to manifest just by like, oh, you know, I want to do this. And it's like, well, it's not just your karma, but if the timing is right, for bigger things, those are already in motion. And for smaller things, I think you're just going to be able to manifest like snap, you know, and manifest things. This sovereign authority is kind of like being able to decree something and then just have it like show up for you, because you're basically like karmically entitled to these things that you want. And so in the month of November, what does that mean? They're saying they're just going to start showing up. So like now, or do we have to wait? They're saying some now, others mid-month, and others, well, it'll just be ongoing. It is just going to be like this. It's like this new state of being where you're able to just yeah, basically just decree what you want and it takes shape for you without you having to manipulate the energy very much, especially if you're working with your guides and you're calling them in to help you manifest rather than you trying to do it all on your own. When you're in that kind of energy based on multiple factors, but everybody listening to this has got good to great karmic banks. You've been doing your service work, you've been working on yourself, and now you come to this place where you're quote unquote karmically entitled to receive. And so that's where all these blessings start showing up. And if you feel like anything's been like held back from you, now's when you're going to start seeing things manifest. Okay. So let's get from Brian Froud's fairy deck. Because I feel like whenever we talk about manifesting, I feel like the fae are such a huge ally. Angelics as well, dragons, but the fae are such a huge ally in helping us be better manifestors. They're very confident. Let me just talk about them for a minute before I pull them. They're very confident in their manifesting abilities. There's not a lot of reticence in the fairy realms about, am I entitled? Yeah, I'm getting big chills. Am I entitled to have this thing? Or, can I get what I want? Now, albeit their needs are different than ours, but, it's the same thing. But they're not reticent to manifest. And so they are good allies in helping you to boost your confidence in getting what you desire. Do you want to give me an example? A car? Okay, so they're going to talk about a car for a second, and then we're going to pull one more card here. They're saying like you want a car, and I think it has come up too. Like, what kind of car would you really want? And it's like, well, first of all, what's resourceful and what's in moderation too, I believe too, because we're also in Emperor energy trying to exemplify the overarching like spiritual concepts, I guess, of being resourceful, not taking too much, but also not accepting too little. And if you want to, be a millionaire or whatever, or millionaires, which why not? Then there also has to be this modicum of like practicality and resourcefulness. So it's like, can you kind of meet in the middle with your manifestations? Like, yeah, a Lamborghini might sound cool, but I don't need a Lamborghini every single day, right? So maybe I would go in the middle somewhere. I've always thought too, like I would have like this really practical, not practical, like boring, but like a car where like a bunch of people could go together somewhere. And then a car that was just, like, like not a Ferrari, like a Porsche Cayenne or something, or like an old restored car, like I forgot what they're called, like a really cute Porsche, or like my Firebird that I always had wanted when I was a teenager. I'd always wanted the Firebird with the T-tops, like with the whole phoenix on the, painted like a white Firebird with like a gold Firebird on the hood, or I don't know, some really classic car that I could like go fast in, and really open it up with the T-tops down. So that kind of thing, like feeling into those manifestations, I don't know. I like class. I love like drag race, like, so those kind of things, like live vicariously through your dreams, and then jot down what sounds exciting to you. And the fae can help with that. So, right, like not being afraid to be like, oh, I see myself doing that. And then not talking yourself out of it. Like, no, why would I do that? Why would you, or that you can get to why would you want an old car? That's going to take a lot of money to fix up and it's got problems. It's like, no, no, I've always wanted this. So go with it there. All right. Anything else for November? I noticed each one, we're getting one card. Oh, great. Geo the Slow. Now, it's not lost on me that this one card is where it's like very gray. Oh, this is about enjoying the journey. And look, dudes, all right, look at this. Their faces look almost the same. This is two different decks. Geo the Slow is all about enjoying the journey. I might like put them together. Yeah, this is like enjoying life, enjoying the moment. Even if you're not exactly where you want to be right now. So right now I'm like, oh, winter's starting again. There was snowflakes yesterday and I was like, meh. And it's not so much winter, it's the length of winter here that's just unacceptable to me. It's 6 months of winter weather, cold below freezing weather that starts now and will not end until late March, early April. That's just unacceptable. So that's definitely on my manifestation list, like not here. But you know, so it was like, okay, well, I'm still here. There's nothing I can do about that. I can't change that now. So how do I make each moment more fun? And so today the weather's kind of dreary and I was like, it is beautiful here and I like being here, but I was like, well, more fun would be, you know, maybe today I'll just pretend I'm at the Oregon coast because I don't mind that it's icy and snowing, not snowing, but icy and turbulent over there because they have the ocean. Like whenever the ocean's near, I'm like, oh, but I'm like, oh, I have the river here. So what can I do to make this day more of a 10? You know, first of all, stop saying that I don't want to be here because that's not helping me or anybody else. That's not good. But, you know, there are days when I let myself say that. I'm like, oh, no, because that's part of your manifestation, right? If you don't know, if you know what you don't want, then you know what you do want. So finding that balance, but not disrespecting our guides and the higher beings that are working on our manifestations, because I think that is part of the manifesting process when they're like, be happy with what you have now. I think part of it too, that we don't always think about is like, it's a respect issue. Like I'm getting chills. They're like higher light beings working so freaking hard behind the scenes for every single being on the planet as well as the planet itself. Can you imagine the job it takes to orchestrate manifestations in the energy world? And so sometimes I think when we're not happy with what we have or when we're ditzing it or wishing it was different, I do feel like they take that. They don't have egos, but I do feel like it is in a way kind of disrespecting the work that they're doing on our behalf. It's almost like telling your guides like, well, that's not good enough what you're doing to help me, you know, look at this, you know. And it's like, well, then are they going to want to like help you more when you have that attitude towards what the work that they're doing to help you out? So I try to find a balance between being a little disheartened with, you know, current situations and also like playing it up and being thankful for everything that they're doing to help us. Some things for certain guides are outside of their control. Some of your main guides are not the ones directly responsible for your manifestations coming to light. Those are other higher light beings working in other areas of your life. And sometimes your immediate guides are just there to help you stay motivated, pump you up, help you out with everyday life situations and things, help, you know, in the more like 3D aspects of your life. And they're not so much the ones that are pulling the strings, quote unquote, the fate, destiny strings behind the scenes to get you what you want. And there is this hierarchy level behind the scenes where your immediate guides do report to higher level councils on how you're doing. And sometimes higher level councils have the actual say to be like, well, this person can move forward with what they were working on or their mission or their plan or whatever. Or no, this soul has not shown any or very little level of, you know, wanting to work on themselves or wanting to be of service, or they're constantly complaining. Maybe they need some more lessons to show them, you know, to kind of like basically, for lack of a better word, put them in their place and to show them, you know, what it means to trust in something that's unseen, which in this case is this whole other realm that's helping, you know, this whole other hierarchy of beings that are helping us out with what we want. And I think that is not always talked about in terms of like, why do we have to trust and why do we have to be thankful all the time? And it's like, yeah, well, number one, it does affect your energy. It's not good for you to be like down and constantly grumpy all the time. Number one, that affects you. But number two, I do think there's this modicum of respect that is not always talked about. And I think that does get looked at and acknowledged from the higher beings about, you know, how's this soul really doing on this journey so far? You know, let's get a little report about, you know, their activity and their attitude and all of that. And, you know, so you kind of always want to be like on top of your game there. It's like, I want a good report card or whatever you want to call it. I want a good progress report. I don't want my guides to have to go to higher councils and say like, she is always complaining. She is always like ditching her now reality, which really isn't that bad compared to everything else. Maybe she needs 6 more months of lessons. Like, no, I don't want any more. I don't want any more lessons. So the faster we learn these lessons that come up, the faster, you will move out of them and into calmer waters. All right, let me see. Is there anything? They're saying one more Brian Froud card and then that's it. All right, one more Froud. One more Brian Froud. One more fairies. Okay. Ah, there we go. The Journeyman. Number, I think it's 15. Sometimes the font's hard to read. This is pretty much like the Fool card of this deck, and it's also a card of like self-mastery as well, and putting your best foot forward. And I think that it is really an overarching message for all times, not just the month of November, is being in this beginner's mindset, being excited about what's to come, balancing your expectations with at the same time being in this fun, excited, like anticipatory energy of what's to come. And I do find it cool. Like to me, the guy on the bottom's like this master, and it's almost like the little guy on the top is like stepping off the master's head. So I think this could be like you and your guides where you're not the master yet. You know, you could see this guy in the bottom as like the universe, as source energy, as some, you know, master guide that you're working with. And I still feel like you're here no matter how much work you've done on yourself. That's why we came to the planet. That's why the lessons will not stop. You came here to learn lessons. That's not going away. Even if all this stuff you want manifests, there will be new lessons with those things. That's why you wanted to come here. You wanted to learn lessons, to grow your soul, to become this master who, you know, maybe one day will decide like, oh, I've done what I can. I don't feel like I want to come back to Earth anymore. Maybe I want to go somewhere else. Or maybe you'll just decide that you love it so much that you just want to keep coming back and keep going on these journeys. So staying in that beginner's mindset, staying excited about what's to come, no matter your age, working with your guides, balancing your energy and your expectations along with excitement and anticipation of what's to come. But knowing that basically we're always here learning, growing, and that we are being fully supported, you know, by the planet and by the higher light beings. So I'm going to take a pause and see if there's anything else they want me to say. All right, so they are done. So what I'm going to do is gather these cards, and we will probably pull these out again for the November Energy Hangout. We'll see how they relate to the Earth Council update that I'll be channeling for that as well. And until then, my friends, I guess we will see you all again soon, somewhere in the astrals at TLC for the Soul. Take care.